Yeah, we find her, the beautiful girl we've been missing. We wanna have her kissing. We find her, now we in love. So I got so the remix.
DMB, Tux Bites, remix.
Now if I had to lose you like a bad phone connection, I'd change my game to get a better reception. Sit back, let's start this interaction. Don't fight the feelings, just a chain reaction. Your heart won't give it the wrong instructions. Like my GPS, yes I got the right direction. We gotta merge together like a road intersection. Last stop is gonna be my love and affection. I ain't like the mother dudes, they wanna call you shorty, but I'ma call you a beautiful girl. I took your picture home, my mama saw it, she's a very, very beautiful girl. I wanna put you in my video, cause you're so beautiful. You're a beautiful girl. So when you hear us in your radio, turn up your stereo. It's beautiful girl.
Gotta find a shorty, what's worth of a lady. It's nice but maybe doesn't look like 40. It's taking a little time. I wasn't saying no signs. Any traces of my baby, who's gonna be my baby? But I thought I'm gonna take my time with thinking to the love fine eye. I saw a shorty passing by. She's got this very pretty smile. It was right on the bus station. I tried to make a conversation, holding her arms, feeling so tough. I felt the sensation. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. And now I realize I found me a beautiful girl. She's a model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it by. Beautiful girl, sparkling eyes, a killing thigh. I found me a beautiful girl.
My wish came true when I saw you, girl. God must have blessed me with your beauty, girl. Looking so right from your head to your toe, shaped like a Coke bottle with a smile of a queen. My queen to be, you my destiny. Got a body of a goddess, such a beauty, I'm impressed. And I'm never in distress, come on over and be mine. Been searching for a man and now all the cats keep looking to mine. With a sexy walk and a sexy talk, she must be from a planet called the sexy world. I know I ain't tripping, better yet I'm thinking put a ring on the finger, we look good together. Take your place in my heart with your beauty, I'ma say that I'll never turn away. Who would think I'm in love?
Such the way she smiles at me just really makes me weak. The way she speaks to me just really make me go so weak. Keep staring in her eyebrows. All I kept on saying is wow. Your beauty shines and breeze at night. All I really want in my life. Oh yeah. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl, sparkling eyes, killing thigh. I found me a beautiful girl. Yeah, beautiful girl. What beautiful girl? Yeah. Beautiful girl.
Damn. Money, you seen her? Hot Ice, have you seen her? LP, have you seen her? I'ma go over to Tux Bites. I know you've probably seen her. He has a lot of beautiful girls with him. Tux, it's DMB, baby. Look.
Beautiful.
I look for a while, but I can't seem to find a beautiful girl so I can make her mine. Time after time, I've been searching for a while, but every girl I meet never seems worthwhile. What can I do? I pray to God for an answer. I feel pains in my heart like cancer, and when I find her, I'm gonna romance her. Lace her with presents and gifts. Call me Santa Claus. I make a heartbeat pause. That's my girl, homeboy, not yours. The girl of my dreams, she's more than I ever thought. Show me Aston Kutcher, I think I'm getting punked. She's what I really want, so I'ma go get her. Since I'm a go getter, you know I'm gon' get her. And I will give her the world, anything for my beautiful girl.
Psych. Ooh, it's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl, sparkling eyes.
it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
What's going on? Welcome back. Late night taping here, Monday night. How's everybody doing? Welcome back. What's going on? Let's see. Just want to make sure I get the background music on. Yay. All right, we have some work to do. Let's get some work. Late nights. How are you doing? If you're watching me, you're by yourself. Shout out to you. If you're watching me rebroadcast later, shout out to you as well. We have some base to cover tonight. My name is Ola. I'm coming to you live from my Empire Pro Studios. And over here, Men of Prestige, we talk about relationships. We talk about self. We talk about power, social, and emotional intelligence. We also talk about seduction and attraction. As you're coming in, please, regardless of what time, make sure you're hitting that like button and make sure you're sharing. Shout out to Natu. Thank you so much for always your support and for sharing. I saw what you shared on Instagram earlier, just before I came on. So I want to say thank you. I appreciate that. And shout out to everybody that's our regular here. I miss you all tonight. I know it's late night. Make sure you go to loveandprestige.com to download the book and make sure you're reading the book. That's a book you need to read 10 to 15 times, just in case you don't know. If you're looking to build a healthy relationship, especially if you're speaking about marriage. If you're not yet a part of the gang, it's WhatsApp, on our WhatsApp group, so you can get notified. Kind of like tonight, I just notified everybody on there. Make sure you join using that link, lolaanola.com/WhatsApp. And if that doesn't work for you, you can also send a quick WhatsApp text message only to 732-305-8577. That's a US number, so you might want to add +1 if you're outside of US. But yes, let's get to it today. We have some base to cover. Today we're going to be talking about Brian McKnight. Is Brian McKnight a deadbeat dad? And also, yes, thank God I remember the ex-wife actually had something to say with regards to the story. So we're going to be covering that in a little bit. But before we get into that, I've got some other stories that I want to cover today. We're going to cover the stories first before we get into the Brian McKnight story, which I do think is a big story. All right. So again, welcome. Hit that like button as you're coming in. But I'll be right back. All right, the first story we want to cover tonight or at this time is the Honest Bunch, my favorite podcast in the world right now. Maybe second favorite, maybe third, I'm not sure. But I love the Honest Bunch, It gives us, it reminds me very quickly that Nigeria is getting westernized very, very quickly. Okay, so, but they have something to say here about gender roles. We're going to play maybe just a few minutes of it, and then I wanted to talk about it. So let's go ahead and play that right about now.
Can I tell you something happened?
You have to be with a partner that can do that for you when you don't have anything.
Something happened recently, right? The person that this happened would, if he watched the podcast, definitely, and he would hear this.
Shout out to the Honest Bunch.
he
Fair
gave
use.
me something that belongs to him, and while I was using it, it got spoiled, and I fixed it. Right? After I fixed it, I didn't even tell him I fixed it. I told somebody else that I fixed it, and the person told him. And he called me and he said, I gave you my stuff and it got spoiled. Why did you fix it? It's my responsibility to fix it.
Wow.
So some guys, wait. No.
Nah.
Allow me to finish, please.
It even depends on what got spoiled. Let me even know what got spoiled.
Allow me to
Wait
finish,
now,
please.
DJ begin.
So, so many men believe that, I mean, this is feminine to do. Like I've read some places that they say, oh, ladies, sometimes if your bulb should spoil and don't fix it, sometimes massage the man's ego. Just tell him something you can fix. So massage the man's ego and say, oh, baby, my bulb has spoiled. Let him feel like the man and fix the bulb for you. Sometimes, right? If you do some kind things and you're with your partner and you're doing it, sometimes men feel like, why is she trying to act like the man?
Like you want to go and throw generator.
Do you know the truth? Do you know the truth?
But then when you feel
Thank God for saying why.
So they're talking about gender roles, gender assignments, depending on what part of the human experience you connect with. Now, this is interesting, right? Now, the topics that I've created here says the honest bunch on gender roles in the 21st century, cooking versus tire changing. You often hear people will say, well, cooking is a life skill, right? Everyone should be able to cook. There's a buzzword. If you've been paying attention to what I've been saying here for a little bit over 18 months now, right? The should, right? Or anytime you use should or could, basically you're fantasizing, okay? You're fantasizing, okay? I'm not saying don't use the word should, but I just want you to be aware that every time you say something should, right? You're not only admitting that it's not the reality, but you're also actively fantasizing. It doesn't mean it can't happen, but clearly it's not happening. That's why you're saying should, okay? So should cooking be a life skill? I think eating is a life skill. I think finding yourself something to eat is a life. However way you do it, it's a life skill. Okay, cooking is not a life skill. That's you assuming that I want to cook, right? Especially in 2023, there are so many other ways to eat without having to cook. Both on both sides of the gender, right? Either you're a woman or woman. You want to order it. I don't know if you know yet. For certain people, depending on the lifestyle, what city they live in, ordering out is actually cheaper and healthier for them. So there's no case you want to make for it that's not going to be basically just cap.
Stop the cap.
Okay, I know you've like, hey, cooking is a life skill. Everyone should be able to cook. Okay, good. That's a different topic. Even if you're right, let me just agree with you. You're right, right? Let me agree with you. Right.
You're right.
I'm struggling to see what it has to do with this. Okay, I get it. Men often want their woman to cook and they're coming from a place of entitlement. Yeah, they are also weird because nowadays, again, like I said, ordering out can be healthier. It depends on what part of the world you live in. It can be healthier and can be cheaper. Okay, that I'm not encouraging people to do it. I think you should cook your own food, right? But the keyword should just came in there again. For a lot of people's reality, it's just not feasible. Okay, so now should you continue to strive to be able to cook your own food? Yes, sure. But clearly there's a problem there. It's not fitting into people's lifestyle, right? Now, tire changing. So that's one cap. The other side of the cap is that they're asking like, okay, would you get down from the car if your boyfriend or your husband, the tire is now flat, right? And it's time to change to the spare tire. And these ladies will not admit that even if they're getting down, they're coming down to watch. They just won't admit because they have to. This equality thing is a struggle, right? It's a struggle. Now, I would say keep advocating for it, but let's not cap. The truth of the matter is that on both sides, there is what they call double standards. And because it's on both sides, to me, that sounds fair. If you're obsessed with fairness, that already sounds fair to me. Let me play a little bit more of it.
Why is she trying to act like a man?
And you're saying, baby, help me do this, and baby, help me do this. Why is this one asking?
Isn't it? Let me tell you the truth. Isn't it? Let me tell you the truth. Thank God you mentioned the line. Why is she trying to act like a man? A lot of women these days are trying to abdicate their own role as a woman for trying to be a man.
So when we sit back and say provide, they say.
So that sounds too general for me. What do you mean? Can you be a little bit more specific? Can you give us an example? Like, say for example, the car broke down on the road, the tire is flat, and she said, "No, babe, you sit down, I got it this time," right? Is that what we're talking about? Because most women are not doing that. Again, see, generalization in the what. I know there are some scenarios, all right, where people are doing that, okay, but it's definitely not tire changing. It's not certain roles. It's only in certain roles, right? People are literally picking and choosing where they want to abdicate. Is that the English? Abdicate the role, and they want to do some other ones, but they don't want to eliminate the other ones, right? That's the reality that we're seeing everywhere. Okay, let me see who is in the chat. Hey, change tire. Shola, what's up, Shola? Changing tire is associated with men. Likewise, cooking is associated. These are the reality. This is the reality. But again, people are fighting with reality. This is why they're struggling. I'm not saying we shouldn't encourage people to do other things and take care of themselves. But I think because we're not being truthful, okay, we're not being honest with the actual underlying motive here, we're struggling. Because the reality is that double standard is real. All right, there are some. It's part of our social. You can call it social construct. You can call it social construct. It's okay. It's our reality. If you don't like it, sure, there's nothing wrong with not liking certain things, but to continue to pretend, yeah, these are why people are struggling. Let me play a little bit more.
Why can't you provide?
Do you have a problem with a man not providing? Honest question I'm asking you.
I don't have a problem with them complaining when they
as far as it's not a relationship with me.
See, they couldn't answer that. Let me repeat what he just said. Shout out to DJ Big N.
Do you have a problem with a man not providing? Honest question I'm asking you.
I don't have
If a man is not able to provide, do you have a problem with that? Right? She's saying I don't have a problem with that. In the short term, you see, we're not talking about it's a temporary situation. The answer she's giving is to temporary situation, right? I don't have a problem. But would you feed a family for a longer period of time? For whatever reason, even if it's their village that's doing it, you can't understand it. He's just trying to, you can see his effort, but it's not working out. After a while, would you have a problem with that? Right? If you didn't have a problem with it, will your father have a problem with a man that can provide?
I have a problem with them complaining when they
as far as it's not a relationship with me.
My point exactly.
Wait, what?
Them complain.
Man not providing. Honest question I'm asking you.
I don't have a problem with them complaining when they
as far as it's not a relationship with me.
My point exactly. You see, so
and now,
so let me face you.
You're not in a relationship.
Let me face you. Hold on.
She said you're not in a relationship with me. At least she's straight up.
So
you have a problem with a man not providing?
I don't have a problem with a man not providing
in a relationship.
As long as it's not with you.
It's not going to be a problem. There won't be a relationship, so there won't be no problem.
You see life. Sheraye Lodi. She said she won't be in a relationship with him. It's not possible. Wahala. Changing tires, yes. Hey, Just Jay, good to see you. I change tires because I have to. Right? Yeah, I don't fancy cooking. I wish my hubby cooks, but it is what it is if he doesn't. But I'm teaching my sons how to cook. Yeah, there's not... listen, my wife will claim that I don't know how to cook. I can throw down a little bit, but I don't enjoy it. But I also get to get away with not enjoying it. Why? Because of our social construct. It's not just my fault. Okay, maybe. right? But it's really just societal fault. She also has the same expectations of herself as a normal woman, right? That she should be the one doing it. It's not me imposing it. It's like we're all built in the same social construct, right? So if we're going to change anything, we need to first of all admit that. First of all, she said, I don't understand the question. Oh, the question it was asking is like, do you have a problem with a man not being able to provide? If a man can't provide, is that a problem? Or automatically, is that a problem? The honest answer should be yes. Most women may not be able to admit, just like she's having a hard time admitting it, but if he can't provide, he can't provide. That's a problem. That at some point, maybe not in the short term, if you're really nice and you want to help your man and all of this stuff, at some point a man will need to provide. That same requirement is not required of a woman by our society, the same society we live in, regardless of what part of the world, right? Maybe so there's some exception in some hole somewhere in the middle of the ocean of Australia, I don't know, or somewhere deep inside of Africa. But generally speaking, that's that in the long term, that's a problem. At the very minimum, like, oh, you might be able to help your man in a short-term situation. He lost his job, business failure. Yes, of course, we know that. A good woman will help. At some point, that's going to start to tamper with a sense of security, a certainty, which is a basic human need, particularly for women in a relationship, right? It doesn't mean she's a gold digger. It's just, again, once something starts to tamper with a sense of security and feeling safe, nothing is going to work, right? Nothing is going to work, literally, But I want to know what your thoughts are about this, because I want to move on to I don't want to spend too much time, but shout out to the Honest Bunch. It's a good podcast. I want to know what your thoughts are on this later on in the comments later on. I want to know what your thoughts are about this. Is gender role still very much alive? Even though the 24th century Gen Z people, we haven't gotten to Gen Alpha yet. They are fighting tooth and nail to change everything that we know, to change it, but they have no solutions to replace it with. It's just confusion everywhere, in my opinion. But what are your thoughts? I want to know what your thoughts are about this, so that we can move on. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Let's talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville. I watched episode 6 yesterday of season 6. It's a show on the OWN network of these 3 couples. I think they had maybe one more other minor couple there. Basically living their life. It was supposed to be about real estate, marriage and real estate, but for the last 5 seasons, I think they probably had 2 scenes about real estate, So we've been covering it here, and I promise I will continue to extract the lessons out of the episodes here. And that's basically what I want to do today, and I'll keep it very, very short, and we'll keep it moving. The people you're looking at, to the right hand side, the guy sitting in a purple nice shirt, jacket over there with the wife behind him, yellow. That's Marshall and Letitia. The guy with the blue sitting right in front with his wife in pink, that would be Maurice and Kimmy. And the guy in the back in pink suit, that's Martel. We've talked about Martel in the past few days, so if you're new here, make sure you go watch those reviews. In fact, we did a whole live session over the weekend. That's his ex-wife in blue, all the way to the right next to me, right? So today's lesson that I'm extracting from this show, basically, there are 3 lessons that I wanted to extract from it, right? I can't play it because they're major network and they're very quick to flag these videos, even though I can fight and get it back, but I don't have time for that. I just want to bring the lessons, okay? If you remember, we were talking about Martel being kicked out of his daughter's birthday party because he wasn't invited, right? We learned a little bit more on this episode, this sixth episode, that in fact she was on the phone 15 minutes before the party with him, the ex-wife, the one in blue right next to me. She was on the phone with him, and he asked like, so what's going on with this birthday parties? I'm not invited. He was like, no, Martel, you're not invited. So he knew before he actually came down there, according to her, right? But he decided to come down anyway, so that's something we learned for the first time. Again, they've been divorced for more than 2 years now, and he has no real reason to be manipulative. He really should just focus on co-parenting, and if he really wants that back together, he can use the co-parenting, his ability to maintain emotional control. He can use that to showcase a new person, and if that's not good enough to attract her back, he needs to let go. We've been talking about that, right? So Martel didn't pick up. So remember in that scene, right? She kept saying, you could pick her up after the party. Basically, he ended up leaving. I think he was there for about 20 to 40 minutes. He ended up leaving the party. And then the little baby girl was calling him after the party, like, are you picking me up? And he was like, no, he's not gonna pick her up, right? So what does that tell me? He only came to the party to do what he does best, which is to try to manipulate the story. Second of all, there was cameras around, right? Because if he really wanted to spend time with his daughter on his birthday, he should at least, he should at least try to prove that point. That, listen, I'll pick you up and pick her up. Actually, if you're allowed to pick her up, and then you go. But he was probably way too upset after being kicked out of the party, and he didn't. At least from what we saw on the show, he did not go back to pick up the baby girl. Now, Melody said she wishes that she didn't have babies with a queen. That's what happens. If you don't know how to behave, you'll continue to attract more shame and insult, and even worse, the attraction will continue to get killed and killed and killed and killed even more. Okay, so that's crazy, Yes, the dodo coconut head, exactly. So that's the first lesson. He basically proved that he wasn't really interested in spending time. He might be interested in spending time with his baby girl, but that wasn't the main motivation to go to that party. Is the point? I keep telling you, gentlemen, you need to learn this manipulation, controlling behavior thing. I understand. I've seen enough to know that a lot of you really don't realize you're doing it, but you are doing it. Okay, a lot of it is coming from a very subconscious place, but I still have to categorize that under incompetence or incompetency, whichever one it is, right? But it's basically lack of competency. Okay, you need to work on your skills at an emotional level. It's, to me, well, if you master this whole emotional intelligence thing, especially remaining a student of it, right, is the easiest thing to attract a woman back. I know some women get triggered when I say that because they're fighting, they're empathizing with Melody. They don't want her to get back with him, right? But I'm just speaking in general basis, right? It's the easiest thing, especially if you've had 4 babies with her. Like, you literally, if you understand this, you own her, literally. But you don't if you don't believe that, and you have to use manipulative and controlling tactics, right? There's another scene where there's a parenting scene with Kimmy. Kimmy is the lady in pink with the husband in blue, right? Kimmy they have some sort of a blended family, right? So she had a son before marrying, before meeting Maurice. The son should be in early 20s now. Maurice also had a son. Maurice was a divorcee, right? Son should be late teenage years, 16, 17, something like that. So the son, his name is, they call him Monster. I don't know why people call their children Monster, but Oh well. So he's not doing what he's supposed to do, and basically Kimmy was saying he needed. She said she needed him to take over in enforcing the rules, right? And Maurice was trying to say, listen, you created these rules, you should be enforcing it. But she was kind of like, let me make it a little bigger. That's Kimmy and Pinky, right? She was like, I don't want to enforce rules or dish out punishment that his mother would not be okay with. And Maurice is like, we're parenting here. Whatever punishment enforcement you use to enforce your rules is okay with me. Like, I could relate instantly because sometimes my wife tried to put me in that position, right? She creates rules, but she wants me to be the one enforcing. Like, wait, I don't want to be enforcing no rules that like I'm tired. I'm just trying to come home. You have my permission, right? But because she's a stepmom, she's trying to tread lightly, But he didn't get it. He didn't really get it. He was like, no, like, do what you gotta do. You're the mom too, right? Like, yeah, I am a parent to him, but more so a bonus mom, right? Hey, Lady Navarre, good to see you. Welcome to the late night, right? But he didn't really get it, and I got it, and I only get those things because I've gone through them before. I have experience. I can relate, right? I know how he felt. Like, listen, do your thing, every night. It's not everything you got to bring me into, especially if I'm just coming home. And so what did he do? Because he really didn't get it, he got on the phone with, what's her name, Kiowa, the ex-wife, which they're in a good place now. They are coming from a much more worse place, but they're in a good place. And he got on the phone with her and said, and then he asked them, like, say, what's wrong with punishment? And then made them talk to each other, okay? And then basically Kiowa, I think Kiowa, that's her name, right? The ex-wife basically agreed, like, no, I would want, like, it's okay if she dishes the same punishment that I would dish, right? So the dynamics in co-parenting, right, and especially when stepmoms are involved, is the lesson that I wanted to pull out of this, right? I love Kimmy too, and I'm glad that she's doing better after the crazy diagnosis, right? Yep. So yeah, so it's the dynamics in co-parenting is a very tricky thing, especially in that kind of space. You need a lot of emotional intelligence. What that means is that you need to be paying attention to people's emotions involved, and unfortunately or fortunately, on multiple levels, multiple layers, right? Because not only do you have to deal with your wife's emotion, you have to deal with your ex-wife's emotion, which she's your family for the rest of your life. You have to deal with the boy's emotion, because the boy can come up and say, like, but she's not my mom, depending on how you handle things, right? Depending on the foundation that you have there, right? So if you don't have proper foundation, especially a boy that's now in his late teenage years, what did Jolason say? She said, oh no, Monster is going down the wrong road. Yeah, see, if a boy is already moving a certain type of way and he's a young adult, you have to be very, very careful. Now you have to pay even more attention. And any kind of aggressive tactics, it's probably too late to use that. You need to pay attention at an emotional level. What is it that the people care about? The people, the individuals in this picture, your wife, your ex-wife, your son, what is in it for whatever you're asking them to do? What do they care about? You need to know what is it that they care about the most. Those are going to be your point of leverage, right? But if you don't master your own emotions, all of this is useless, right? If you think you're just this logical robot that's moving around, you're not able to master other people's emotion. You're definitely not able to pay attention at the society level how these emotions play out, right? So what would I do in that situation, right? She doesn't want to punish. I would understand. I wouldn't try to force her to say, well, I'm a parent, I shouldn't do anything. That's not realistic. If she's a stepmom, it's not realistic to assume that she's able to just dish any punishment anyhow. right? Whichever one she's able to do, you encourage her, you tell her, but you also understand that a stepmom is a stepmom. It's a bonus mom, right? It's a beautiful thing when you're able to put it together, but even better when you pay attention to the underlying silent rules that you need to pay attention to. And I don't think he was paying attention at that point in time. So, and the ex-wife actually she confirmed that situation, like, no, I wouldn't want her to give a punishment I wouldn't give. What is that punishment she wouldn't give? You don't know until you just tell everybody to, like, easy, take it easy, right? So I thought it was tricky, but it's usually will be tricky like that. Kimmy has the most sense out of them all, in my opinion. She does come up that way. I agree, actually. If you're a step parent, step away from disciplining stepchildren. Your motive will always be misunderstood. Exactly. Shout out to you, Chance. Born Chance. That's exactly what I am trying to say. Right? You got to move very carefully with a lot of wisdom when we're dealing with step parent, stepchild relationship. I definitely would not be, I will be building relationships. I will stay away from the idea of disciplines. Like the idea of discipline, because how everyone interprets that is all over the place. Some people think discipline has to be the rod. Some people think you have to yell. And some of us, we understand that, hey, it doesn't have to be. It could just be consequences. If you do this, you do this. If you do this, you also get a reward, right? But some people, it's just complete 1960 methods, which doesn't really work in 2023, right? So we don't know who is interpreting what or how they perceive it. So it's better that you kind of like move with a lot of wisdom there. I would definitely be careful with that. My ex-husband and I had a blended family. We had that talk in the beginning. We decided we could not touch each other's children. See, you gotta be careful with that. You gotta be careful. It's a very precarious thing for sure. Yes. The other lesson that I wanted to pull out of this particular episode, Maurice was having a conversation with Martel. Martel is, let me show you who they are. I want to show you the characters. Martel is the guy in pink, in the pink suit on the back, the one that's divorced now. Maurice is the beige color, blue suit guy, Kimmy's husband, right? Sitting in front, right? By the way, Maurice and Marceau are blood brothers. Okay, Marceau's the one in purple, right? So they were having a conversation. He asked a very interesting question that I thought I would share. Maurice asked, where would he be if he had the opportunity that his son has, right? And I thought Martel gave a very, very cool answer. He said, he gave an interesting, I said, you will probably be exactly where you are or worse. There's this assumption, and this is parenting issue too. This assumpts, you gotta be careful. Remember, we're gonna talk about Brian a little bit here, right? Brian McKnight. Spoiling your children is irreversible. You can't reverse it. If you create bad damages from spoiling your children, you might not be able to reverse it. You gotta be careful with that. And it comes from statements like, well, I don't want my kids to go through things that I went through. Context matters, man. Context matters. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to your children, okay? The context you were raised in is quite different from the context your children are being raised in, okay? And I thought the answer was cool that Martel gave to Maurice. Like, you'll probably be exactly where you are, because where you are right now is all you. That's the best you can assume from that, okay? Or worse. But to assume that you will be better off because your children have this opportunity, this crazy opportunity, or the reverse of it, right? Just pay attention to what's happening now, right? Understand how the human mind works. When something is readily available, it will be taken for granted, okay? Scarcity builds value, and there's a balance somewhere, okay? People actually have to care. If they don't care, particularly at the feelings, emotion standpoint, including children, right? They don't care. They don't care, right? And you can't manipulate them into caring. You just have to be a good listener and listen to where they're coming from. Oftentimes, that's going to take a little bit more than just hearing words. You have to listen to their heart, right? So, how you were raised is irrelevant, is my point. Right? Could you be better if you have better opportunities? Maybe, maybe not. You will never know. It's irrelevant, right? So if you have your children within the context of the lifestyle that you live, there should be rewards and there should be consequences for certain types of behavior, right? And it's even better when they're able to understand it's being some kind of rules, a conversation, where you're having a conversation, right? If they're past the age of 7, in my opinion, it's conversations. It's you're building a relationship with a person, another person. Oh yeah, but that's not really an adult. Look, I'm telling you, when they're past the age of 7, you need to be patient enough to have a conversation, listen to their heart, see where they're coming from, express yourself how you feel to them too. That would make them feel even more valid, right? This is what I'm going through. What do you think? Like, I'm trying to change this product. I bring my son here sometimes. I'm trying to change this product, go in this direction. What do you think? Well, what do you like? He's able to have that conversation with me, like that level, considering what I feel at 14, right? I can't imagine trying to raise my hands on my 14 or my 12 years old. It doesn't make any sense. In the name of they're still under 18, they go, look, it's stupid. This is why you translate the same behavior to adults. It's still you, right? So you don't even notice when you're doing it, right? Treat them like humans. They will always attract other people treating them that same way. They will treat you the same way too. It looks like that parenting theme is coming a lot today, right? Let's see here. That type of parenting comes from a place of fear, and that type of overcompensation is harmful for a child. Yeah. Don't worry about what you had when you were growing up or what you didn't have. It's irrelevant to their world. It's lazy, okay? It's basically you trying to force, you're frustrated, so you're trying to force it. You gotta see the way I see. No, they don't see shit the way you see it. They don't see nothing. They see what they see now, and you better be paying attention, okay? Yeah, I value my little humans' thoughts and feelings. You have to. And I think Maurice does, but there's some little nuanced things that will creep to the surface for all of us, right? Because we're raised differently. I say it too myself, but I check myself when I do say it. I might say things like, well, I didn't have that when I was young. It's irrelevant. Literally irrelevant, okay? So yes, that's the third lesson I thought. If you got anything else from that episode that I missed, please feel free to share with me in the comments. I would love to know your thoughts about it, so we can keep talking about this. So marriage, relationships, power, parenting, it's the same issues. It's emotional intelligence, self-awareness, okay, self-intelligence, power intelligence, social intelligence, emotional intelligence, okay? All right, I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Let's talk about Rollo Tomasi, some manosphere talking nonsense to cover today. Let's talk about Rollo Tomasi and this crazy ass rules that he put out on tweet. He got checked for it, okay, and he's not, he was quite angry. I'm gonna play a little bit of the video. Then we'll talk about the crazy rules and then see if we can get anything out of it. This lesson, a donkey can teach you something, You never know, right? Jolason says, I haven't watched the show since Monster was still living with his mom. Oh, you could catch up right away. You catch up. Good show. Absolutely. He's a big boy now. But yes, let's get back to Rollo Tomasi and this quote unquote big babies here. Rollo Tomasi, Sneeko, and whatchamacallit. I'm gonna play the video a little bit and then we'll talk about. Okay. Well, let me first of all cover these rules and I'll play the video. So he was being checked. Okay, this gentleman right here, the one with his mouth wide open. Okay, It's a guy who wrote a book called the book is called Rational Male. Okay, the book is supposed to teach men about the nature of, relationships, intersexual dynamics. But basically, this is like, quote unquote, the white godfather of the manosphere. Okay, you know who the black godfather was, right? He was, right? But this is Rollo Tomasi. He's the godfather of them, Fresh and Fit, So he had eight steps as the quickest path to becoming a high value man. And all they asked him to do is like, hey, listen, what is a high value man? And he refused to give them a definition. And then that's how they say, all hell broke loose, right? That's how they say it, right? Yes. But let me just go ahead and play some of this. And then I'm going to come back to the rules that he set for a term that he doesn't want to define. Right? He set up 8 steps, fastest route to becoming a highest value. What is a high value man? Right? But back when I first started joining these conversations about going on 2 years now, well, around 2020 or so, I was like, high value man. It sounds slow. At the time, I didn't really understand all of this stuff. I'm trying to figure out what these people are talking about. It sounds like all these people are slow. That's what my initial thoughts were until I took some time. This manosphere space thing taught me a lot of patience, to be honest with you, because I get triggered and then I'm like, okay, you gotta be patient. They're trying to say something, right? And but yeah, it's crazy. But let me play a little bit of it and then let's go back a little bit. Let's see.
What you guys have been doing.
So what is it? Can you tell me what that tweet was if it wasn't advice?
It's not advice. Focus on family. Maybe you should not get married. I mean, I don't know why that's big.
It's maybe advice.
I'm not saying it's advice. What I'm saying.
So he put a tweet out and then he's claiming it's not an advice. A lot of them play that game, right? They'll put out a tweet, they'll put out a word, a bunch of people are following them, but they were like, no, I'm not really an advisor. But these people are following you and they're taking everything you're saying as gospel truth. But at some point I had no choice than to just admit that, okay, it's not really an advice.
You're right.
You're right, it's not an advice, but you are influencers, okay? They are influencers and they are influencing a lot of people. And this is why I'm having this conversation. Those 46 people that will come in and find out that we're talking about this, they can see that they are all off. But anyway, let me play a little bit, then we'll go through the 8 steps, quickest path, and see. I want to see what your thoughts are about that.
Is this over the fucking top? That
they're arguing. These are the red pill people. Okay, we're gonna talk about red pill in a second. These are the red pill people, manosphere people. They're arguing with themselves now. Less than 2 years, the old empire is falling apart because there was no bad foundation in the first place. Okay, bad foundation in the first place.
everybody wants to take it out of context, which is exactly what you guys have been doing.
So what is it? Can you tell me what that tweet was if it wasn't advice?
It's not advice.
Sneeko was the poster boy child of the red pill space in the last 1 year or so. I'm so proud to see that he's showing some growth, right? That's why I said, you got it. These people are going through a process. Millions. Okay, I'm exaggerating maybe a little bit. Let's just say thousands, because I don't know the numbers, right? Are gonna get stuck in a rage and never come out of it. Okay, I know 60-year-old men that are inside of rage, red pill rage they call it, right? But Sneeko is actually going through the process and is questioning anything that doesn't make sense. He's questioning it, like, but that doesn't make any sense. How do you put out a tweet 8 steps and you're saying it's not an advice? It's not making sense to him. Well, Rollo is ending up on the receiving side of the kids he raised on the internet, and he's not liking it. He's calling them names already: shame, insult, guilt, need to be right.
What it is it's okay. It's saying that this is the most extreme way to do things. Okay, here's the quickest path to, if I told you this, look,
He couldn't say it. Why would you say a word, a phrase, and you're having a hard time saying it? The quickest path to high value men. They're about to show you right now.
I said the quickest way for you to make $1 million.
That sounds like advice.
Is to go steal it from the bank or go to steal it.
The quickest way to make $1 million is to go steal it. So they asked him, I said, so what was it? He said, was it a joke? He said, no, it's not a joke. It's more like an apathetic. Okay, all right, Rolo. I actually read the book. I thought the book was quite insightful, but it's extreme as usual. It's not human experience as usual. When human experience, that's why they call it the red pill and the blue pill. When the normal humans see these things, they're like, no, I'd rather take the blue. I like to experience it as it goes. I don't want to know all these extremes that may never happen to me. I like to experience it as we go, right? The quickest path, okay? I don't know if you can see that. Let's go through it. Let me make it bigger. It said the quickest path to becoming a high value man. 1, do not get married. 2, avoid family creation. Let's sip to that. I'm drinking water today. No soda for me. No sugar. All right. Number 3, vasectomy in your 20s. 4, lift consistently. Can you see my arms? No, it's all dark in here, right? 5, eliminate all sedations. That means no drinking, no weed, no getting high, right? That's what that means, right? No, yeah. I guess that's what that means. I think so. 6, learn game and networking, right? So now this is the point where we say there's game. At least this one is not so dark and black that they think there's no game. It's always said there's game anyway. Learn game and networking. Number 7, play to your strengths, build wealth. Okay. Number 8, resist easing up on your focus. All right, so now they're stuck. Now Sneeko is stuck on vasectomy in your 20s. It's not making sense to him. I'm gonna play it.
Does that mean I'm telling you to go steal it? If I tell you to go fucking jump off a cliff, are you gonna go jump off a cliff?
Right,
There are literally people. There are people that will do exactly what you tell them to do, because now you're tapping into their pain points. You're tapping into things they're actually going through, right? So if you tell them to go, yes, they might just jump off a cliff. If you're a highly influential personality, yes, Rolo, we're not saying it's your fault. We just want you to be aware that, yes, it's possible. Right? You can see it all over the place. Lost head, lost souls. And to be called them lost souls. Right? They literally take your word for word. So you can't come around and say you take me out of context. To them, they're like, today I saw another video about Tristan Tate, Andrew Tate's brother. They were supposed to be the flagship Red Pill brothers. Now they're denouncing. They don't want to be a part of it, right? The guy said, those guys, please don't associate their name with them. They're autistic. That's what he said, which means social issues, social senses issues, right? It's all falling apart because it never made sense. He had no foundation in the human experience. The human beings are emotional beings, social beings, okay? So if you're off, if they can read that you're off, that you just, right? So now you can't come back around and say somebody is taking you out of context when you're teaching them to literally don't tolerate context. Everything is black and white, ones and zeros. I don't care about feelings. You can't do that. That's confusing to these kids.
By the way, here's the other thing is I'm also
the Godfather is arguing with his own children on the internet, What would you be that?
Responding to Dr. Richard Reeves in this as well.
Okay, there's a lot of context about it, sure. But all the rest of the list, you're equating vasectomy to lifting, game, play to your strength, resisting up on easing your focus. The rest of it sounds like general advice.
Okay, well let's say so let me ask you. So is it the vasectomy part that's throwing you off?
Really genuine good advice, right? The rest of it.
Is it the vasectomy part?
Yeah,
do you agree?
Vasectomy, I think they said is 97% reversal success, but then there's studies that came out through the live stream itself that it does affect fertility later on too, potentially, right? Not only that, the longer you wait, the lower the reversal rate goes, but it also affects fertility later on. So these kids, their issue is not being able to get women. And now you're telling them to do vasectomy. Actually, a lot of them actually would like to do family. They fantasize about the idea of family. They're just struggling with what they want. But you're talking about vasectomy. Some of them will say, hey, I'm converting to Islam. I'm doing that. It's confusion everywhere. And there's some simple principles. There's very, very simple principles. Life is a journey of faith. The idea of trying to find out everything up front is a failing strategy. It doesn't work. You will never know everything up front. It's giving them the quickest path, meaning you shouldn't want to do this, but if you want to do it, there you go. But then you're at best confusing.
Agree with pretty much everything else except for the vasectomy part.
The first three is weird because then I don't even know what the red pill idea of a high value man is. Is it just being rich? Like, what's the point of having all this money and not having a family? Why be that?
You forget that these kids will ask you why. Why? They're going to ask you why. If you're not prepared for the why, you shouldn't be teaching in the first place. Really, you should not be teaching in the first place. Okay? All right. He has a series of books. I stopped at one. The first one, Rational Male. Thought it was insightful. But if the wrong people read that book, they're going to be angry with themselves. It's going to show up like they're angry with women, but they're actually just angry with themselves. That's what the red pill rage is, right? It's crazy.
Rich, the guy who's always grinding. Whoa, Brandon Carter doesn't have to do his laundry. Sick. What else are you going to do with your life?
Right. Maybe this is actually meant so that you'll get it. You'll have a freaking epiphany about all the shit that you have to sacrifice to get to that in the first place.
But Rolo, it's not working. That's the point being made right now that you're not getting, Rolo. It's not working. Right? You give people extreme studies. You're giving a bunch of kids access to extreme studies with the way the human mind works. You're not paying attention to the source of this audience, their motives. What's their motivation to want to consume your content? That's important, right? In fact, we could start with this conversation. What is the motivation for, what's his name, Sneeko, having this argument with you? You need to pay attention to that. I see that he's trying to do that by saying, wait, is the vasectomy the issue, right? No, it's not. The point is that you're creating confusion for something that was meant to be very simple. When it's time for babies to walk, they start walking. If they don't walk by the ages of 7, 8, they're going to need a professional help. It's going to get harder and harder. You're asking men, not you particularly, but a lot of people you're raising are asking men to wait to 35, 45 before they get married because somehow they'll be wiser. It's not working. Okay, there's a reason why they weren't married up to that point in the first place. It's not working. You're trying to help nature. You're confused. You're trying to eat red pill, but you're trying to create another pale color in the first place. It's confusing, right? And it will always be confusing unless you get to the point where you start bringing it down to individual case by case level. If you don't bring people's relationship issues down to individual level, if you keep capping about societal issues, there are society issues, but it starts, charity begins at home. We need to assess the person you're speaking to first. What is their motivation? There's always a motivation for people to want to consume a certain type of content, or for them to be obsessed, or to find themselves relating to a particular topic so hard. There's a motivation. We're not going to pretend there's no motivation. There's a motivation. That underlying thing needs to be assessed. Right? If it's not assessed, you will continue to create all of this confusion that you're seeing right now. Yep. It's it right there. Anyway, I thought I'll bring that up to speed, but it's all falling apart because it's useless. It's not working. Okay? The red pill ideology is a dangerous thing when it ends up in the wrong hands. Okay? A bunch of immature people, right? We need to keep saying that hard, not to discount some of the good things in it, but so you can pay attention. You can pay attention. All right? I'll be right back. All right, I released a video earlier. FBI on their ass, and I'm glad. Speaking of FBI, I released a video earlier on this channel. It's an 8-minute video. Make sure you watch it after. It's an 8-minute video. You can find it and watch it later. The video is called "What is the Red Pill?" So this is Red Pill Part 2. You could call this Red Pill Part 2. Here's a little bit of the video. I'm not going to play it off. If you want to watch the whole thing, I did mention the FBI thing in the video as well. So if you want to take a look at it once we're done, feel free to do that. But here's the beginning of the video. So what is Red Pill? Hey there, welcome back. This is Ola, the host of Man of Prestige, coming to you live from my Empire Pro studios. Today, we're reviewing a concept that's been gaining attention over the years, Red Pill, the Red Pill ideology. You might have heard this term before, maybe even from the iconic movie The Matrix. But what does it mean? And why do men turn to it after going through difficult breakups or divorces? And why do some women turn to it in the bid to understand and sympathize with such men's plight? Stick around because we're about to explore it all. All right, let's start by tracing the origins of the Red Pill concept. Remember that mind-bending scene in The Matrix where Neo is offered a choice between the red pill and the blue pill? Well, that red pill became a powerful metaphor for awakening from societal illusions. It inspired countless discussions, and its influence soon spilled over into popular culture. Beyond the movie reference, it has come to... All right, I'm going to leave it at that right there. If you want to watch the video later on, watch it. What I wanted to do, particularly right now for this part 2, is to review some of the comments. I know some people left some comments. Look, Ola reconfirmed. No, it is. Again, I think somebody mentioned that. I'll talk about that in a second here. In the comments area, shout out to Gracious Greatness, left a $2 super sticker with this comment here. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. So the reason why I did this video is because anytime I'm put on the spot and people say, what is Red Pill? All over the place a little bit, so I was like, you know what? Let me put something clean, a little bit cleaner together. I do understand the Red Pill. What I understand about it is that the truth as it is, not sugarcoating, or hey, let me fantasize that the world is just a perfect place where people are good. That's blue pill, right? So the truth and nothing but the truth. But this, with human experience, people like to be humans. Like, they don't want to know, like, whatever the fuck you're calling truth. They need to just be human, right? And oftentimes that can come with pain, but that's part of human experience, right? That's not a crime. That's not something you're supposed to eliminate. You're a human being, right? But there are people that take it to the extreme, and that's where the whole thing came from. So it's, especially if I'm on another person's platform show and everybody, especially like, for example, at the Beast show a few days ago, some gentleman, shout out to Kenny, I saw your comment earlier, we'll talk soon, by the way. People got triggered because it's too harsh, too much of harsh reality. You too will get triggered if I paint the picture of it gets too much, right? It can get too much. That's why we're human beings, and that's why we talk about social intelligence, the emotional intelligence. It's not what it looks like on the surface, but there are feelings going on inside, and to completely pretend like those feelings don't exist, either you're a man or woman, it's just retarded behavior, okay? That's just you being socially awkward at best, okay? And that's so I decided to do this video to keep it straightforward. This is what it is. This is how it's being manipulated. This is how it's being used wrongly, right? And this is what I see it as today. I see it as just wrong. It's net negative for me personally. Okay, so and that's why I did the video. So Gracious Greatness says, let me blow this up a little bit. Let's blow this up a little bit. Where are the comments? There you go. All right, so he says, thanks for this breakdown. I agree with many of your points. However, although the FBI, this is the point you're making, Just Jay, right? Although the FBI might not have issued a report themselves, some reputable news outlets, Fox News, etc., have articles that highlight the agency are monitoring certain words. Yes, exactly. Right? So the words that may correlate with some of the things you will hear in the red pill space, right? Nevertheless, I hope we all as individuals, diverse groups, and a society shall be able to find common ground again, plus steer clear of the fringe extremism of many movements. Yes, it's the extreme. It's the same thing with the extreme of the feminist movement as well. Some of you ladies get triggered by that, but that's just the reality. You have to understand, in any movement, ideologies, religion, there's somebody that's going to take the way to another level that's not what you're saying. But they're the loudest. They tend to be the loudest. Okay, so some of us may say, no, I don't want to associate myself with that. Even Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate just said that, just tweeted that. He deleted it after the fact, but he deleted it now. It's like I don't want to be a part of that. It's people are artistic, all right? So that's just the reality, you know. And for me, I can't associate myself with. I can understand the plight, the complaint, the unfairness in the laws that you created, man, right? And if you're going to change any laws, if it's really that deep, you're going to have to line up, you know, legislation processes, due process, and be patient. You're not going to do it by being aggressive and being rude to women on the internet. It's not going to work. Will it work, right? So I know I'm the first one that told you that, right? So anyway, Michael P, shout out to Michael P. Michael P says, this is a very good and well-balanced video about what the red pill is, Ola. Well done. Let me point out, however, that not all men and women who discover the red pill necessarily turn to red pill. That's true. After a relationship, he's continue. Turn to red pill after a relationship, marriage breakdown, or divorce. Some people just hear about the red pill because it has become mainstream in the society. Yes, we're getting into that space right now, you know. But it's going viral because people can relate to the issues, right? That's why. Okay, it's not just a situation where I'm interested in the topic and then it's going viral. We're not there yet. It's not mainstream like that. I don't believe so anyway, you know. But I know some people are starting to discover it. Like, for example, I was on Anti-B show and some people were saying, what is red pill? Which is what motivated this video, right? What is red pill? What is so those people, like, they didn't discover it that way. They discovered it because we're having a certain topic and people said, right? But the people that keep the glue together, the people in the echo chamber, is the issue is this breakfast. Somebody chopped premium breakfast. Don't get it twisted. So some people just hear about the red pill because it's just it has become popular because people are more aware of what's happening around them in society. Yeah, no, I'm smelling the cap a little bit there. No, you know. In general, yes, but not the red pill. In general, people are more aware of things in general, but the red pill, the source of it's going viral for the last 2-3 years, first of all, COVID, right? It's not new, by the way, but in terms of the last wave we just seen, yes, COVID, people stuck at home, people angry at the other gender. It's a big chunk of, if you're going to credit it properly. And it's not like some people don't discover just from learning stuff, but yeah, majority the people that are making this go viral are exactly that. Breakups, divorces, precisely. Okay. Is the guys who get stuck in red pill rage, right? And negative aspects of the ideology that are lost souls. That's what we're saying, right? The ones who allow it to rule their life are the problem. Just like any religion or ideology that you take to extreme, right? It is good for men and women to be aware of what's happening around them. Yeah, but it's also good for them to be aware that we are not designed to know everything before it happens. It's supposed to be an experience, right? Because what you're going to end up doing is prejudging even the best opportunities for you to actually experience good experiences. You will prejudge it, you will sabotage it, right? So it's like, which should I know everything up front, even though at least what I know is what I know? Or should I miss out on opportunities of life and love? I think it's better to just have a human experience. Okay, you see the smile that came on my face when I said that? I think that's what makes it sweet, right? Seek common ground and approach with caution. Bless. You made some good points. I absolutely agree. Not absolutely. I agree with a lot of your points. I want us to. I don't think we can afford to cap about this breakdown. The breakup and divorce, we can't afford to cap about that. People need to start admitting that, listen, I was disappointed. And when I went on the internet to search for answers, I stumbled into certain ideologies that almost took me out. I need more people to admit to that. No, I don't care. But I care, right? I think people need to admit to that, I should say. Okay? All right? Chinye don't arrive. Chinye says, great work, Allah. Shout out to you, Chinye. Oyade says, but they say men are not emotional. Yeah, that's false. Men are emotional. Men or women have the same emotions. We have emotions, not same emotions. Every individual have different emotions, right? But we have emotions, right? We express it, but men repress. Societal constructs, right? And this is what it leads to, an explosion of anger and resentment. Yeah, very, 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 very apt. Very almost accurate. This is what's going on. What you said is what's going on. Maddie Love seems to have enjoyed this. This is good stuff. All right, so please feel free to share it. I just wanted to do a part 2, address some of the comments, right? And but now I want to go into the main topic of the day, the reason why we're here, and I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So let's talk about this Brian McKnight story. This Brian McKnight story is crazy. I don't know these guys. I do not know these guys. His children. His first looks almost exactly like him. Almost exactly like him. Brian McKnight was one of my favorite R&B stars in the 90s. One of my favorites. One of my favorites, absolutely one of my favorites. There's no way for me to. I was about to play some keyboard, but they're not fed properly into the system. You won't hear it. Back at one, anything, right? Hit songs, smooth R&B. Turn it on, just put it on, go to sleep, right? Yeah. He was married, had 4 children with his ex-wife. Ex-wife have had to say something, I'm gonna play that video as well. Let me see here. But let me go through the story. I'm gonna just read an article here from Distractify.com. I'm gonna read an article to you. Brian McKnight is an absolute talent. Absolute, as in like effortless. Like effortless, right? When he gets down, he gets down. Played a lot of stages before he became a poppy somewhere. But anyway, I think he probably still plays around. Who knows? But let me go through this article that I found on distractify.com for you. Let's talk about it really quickly before we end the night. Singer Brian McKnight is facing criticism for his questionable parenting choices. Singer Brian McKnight is under fire for apparently giving preferential treatment to his stepchildren over his biological children. Here's the scoop. Shout out to Jennifer Teasdale. Now, here's the thing. He was married, had 4 children in the past. In his earlier years, his son is like 30-something now. Brian McKnight is 50-something, 55 or less, a little bit less. So he had his children when he was in his 20s, in his 30s, right? And then he has no relationship with any of the 4 children now today. And he's basically making noise, a celebratory noise about his stepchildren. He has 2 stepchildren, and he just had a new son with his new wife, who is a medical doctor of some sort. And he's celebrating. He named his new son Brian. His first son, the 30-year-old plus son, is actually the original Brian Jr. But he's named his new son Brian. Some of these moves is indicating that he's trying to erase that part of his life. And it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. I've heard people disown a child, maybe disown one child, but it's usually just not talking. It's not really that deep. But this one is going all out to make a statement to the public like this grown children are not part of my life. I don't know who they are. That's what the actions are showing me. It's weird, Yes, Brian McKnight was his Christmas album is the best. Yes, I would say definitely one of the best ever, But let me continue this article here. Singer Brian McKnight, who rose to fame in the 90s with songs like Back at One, Anytime, is facing criticism on social media for allegedly ignoring his biological children in favor of his stepchildren. Okay. This isn't the first time he's been on the receiving end of public backlash for the questionable treatment of his kids. Here's what we know about Brian McKnight's complicated relationship with his children. Yes, crazy. Let me see something here. Now, it's weird. Okay, it's weird. It's just weird. Let me continue. This isn't the first time he's being okay. Brian McKnight is being scrutinized for how he treats his children. According to Brian McKnight's Instagram biography, he is the father to Julia, Jack, Kekoa, that's his biography, Kekoa, Mateo, and Brian Kanoa Makoa. Who are those people from Hawaii? The first 2 listed are the biological children of his wife, Dr. Leilani. Okay, Dr. Leilani Malia Mendoza. Let me show you some pictures. Okay, so this is the family that he's now proud of today. This family is what he's proud of today. He's no longer proud of his older family, right? They're grown now, so okay. So let me continue. Sadly, Kekoa Mateo passed away before his due date, which Brian revealed in a heartbreaking Instagram post. In January 2023, the couple welcomed Brian Kanoa Makoa into the world. Okay, that's a name. Those names sound like they It sounds like some kind of religious stuff, some weird stuff going on somewhere. Who knows? I don't know. It doesn't sound like Brian McKnight. It sounds like Brian Kanoa Makoa, something like that. Something is going on with this man, because I don't think at least shows some kind of saddened spirit or something like that. Show some kind of I'm disappointed. Like my children, I miss my children. Show something like that. That would be more. And it's sad that we're not talking. I see more of that kind of behavior from Kirk Franklin, right? Kirk Franklin is also estranged, has an estranged estranged relationship with his first son, but he's showing more of a human being. Like, listen, he even cursed. I like the idea that he cursed his son out, and that remember that video, that audio that went viral. That's being a normal human to me, right? And you might, but that's not proper. No, I'm telling you, I need you to be normal first before you try to do woke, anything woke. You need to be a normal human being first before you do woke stuff. Okay? That's why a lot of people are struggling with weird stuff, because they try to be woke and completely discount the idea that we're human beings, right? We're human beings first. Shout out to you, Mindrell. I see you, brother. Good to see you, man. Thank you for being here. Jolasun says she's Polynesian. What is Polynesian? I don't know what that is. He under the new coochie spell. Yeah, that could be it right there. Who knows, right? Who knows? Let me continue the article. Anyway, what's strange about all of this is the fact. See, even the article says it's strange. What's strange about all of this is the fact that McKnight has 4 biological children from previous relationships. Let me check out his Instagram page first. Let me see the Instagram page. Let me find him real quickly. Brian McKnight. All right, McKnight 23 came right up. Let's talk about this. All right, so there you go. Can you guys see this? This is his page right here. It says musician, 434,000 followers, monitoring spirits. Husband of Leilani, okay, that's Leilani, has a page up. Father of Julia Jack Kakoa Mateo, that's the one that passed away apparently. Brian Kainoa Makoa, okay. And he has a picture of a new son, I guess, here. All right. That's the wife. All right. Okay. It's under a spell of the new Gucci. Something like that. That's what it looks like. Brian McKnight. He looks good for 50 something. It's not looking too bad. But there's a struggle in paradise, right? Let me get back to before I continue, as a matter of fact, let me there's another page that came up, Brian McKnight, because the name of his first son is exactly the same thing. There you go. Let me show you the page of his first son. It looks exactly like him. Has about 50,000 of his own monitoring spirit. That's Brian McKnight's son right there. Let me see. Is he about to play something?
Sitting with my mother, 10% beer reminiscing about the day that she met my father and how we used to be so decent. Back when I was made half from a preacher and half from a pimp. That's why I'm a teacher and walk with a limp. If you don't get the picture, I'll give you a glimpse. God damn it, with the vision, I see it as a gift. Cause I know my story won't be defeat. No, no, no. And as I grow, my glory is all on me. And that's for sure, for sure. can hardly believe this. Wishing I was good as my brother, and he didn't have to see this. But through mistakes I've made, he'll be a leader and hold no regrets. I'm a stone cold believer, I say it with my chest. I know what I'm here to be is the best. God damn me with the fire that fuels my quest. So I know that my story won't be defeat. No, 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 cause as I grow, I know my glory is all on me. And that's for sure, for sure, for sure. Look, this is my fight song. I've been at it since mama was hurting to keep the lights on. If I put back the curtains and really showed you my life, would you just judge a nigga for how I dealt with the strife? I've been afflicted, addicted to every vice. Almost convicted, been evicted twice. That's right, sacrifice has been my best friend. So my advice, stay true to the end.
Wow. You can't make that shit up, man. We can't make that up. Wait, there's more?
Sitting with my mother.
Okay, it's the same one. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. He got me there. Looks like his father. Yes, he got them McKnight chords exactly. It's beautiful. I got goosebumps from watching that. From listening to that. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad that we're talking about this today. Let me continue the article. It's crazy, man. Jesus Christ. I have to come back from that. All right, let's go back. So, for the very first time in my... This is what he wrote. This is what he wrote on his Instagram page. He said, okay, this is... McKnight had those children, okay? But he has the stepchildren right here, okay? With his wife. He had the stepchildren and he's more proud of the stepchildren. This is what he had to say on his Instagram page. He said, for the very first time in my life, I got to experience what it's like to want to and plan to have a child made from love. How do you, whatever your intentions are in saying something this stupid, yes, it's stupid. Whatever your intentions are, it's not landing. It's terrible. It's just bad. And I feel sad for Brian McKnight himself. Because he must be dealing with something at a mental level, psychologically speaking, for him to find himself in a space where he knows he has children that are literally like him. But they had disagreements. His kids are bad. But then he found it in him, as young as he still looks, to just say, I'm going to act like these children don't exist. I'm just going to pretend they don't exist. Right? Oh, it's crazy. When he visited his stepdaughter Julia at University of California, Santa Barbara, McKnight posted a video of her at the beach house where she lived with children. Julius, I became a girl dad because of you, and I couldn't have asked for a better daughter. Let me see. It's crazy. Wow. He captioned the video. That's a lovely thing to say, right? Except he already has a daughter. Right? This was the post right here. Visiting you on campus and seeing how happy you are living in this beach house with all your friends for your senior year reminded us both of how proud we are of the woman you have become and the incredible student you continue to be. Here's to you, Jules, the perfect daughter. According to Essence magazine, the 53-year-old has 4 biological children from previous relationship. You mean from a previous marriage? Which include Brian Jr., Brianna is also named after him, sounds like. That's the first daughter, Nico and Clyde. Imagine being Brianna and seeing the Instagram video of your father with this stepdaughter, where he also writes, "Here is to you, Jules, the perfect daughter I always wanted." "Oh yeah, but these kids are bad. He has the right. If the kid's not gonna behave the way I want them to behave, forget them kids." I know I say that jokingly sometimes. No. This is not right. It's not right. This doesn't look right. Yes, he's losing his mind. That's what it looks like to me. And he might never regret it until he's in his old age, in the bed, in his old age. Some people are just mad like that. Who knows? Latu, shout out to you, Latu. Latu says you can't even say this is midlife crisis. He's old already. What is the name of his sickness? I have no idea what he's dealing with. But it looks strange to me, you know. Because those kids are bad too, I get it. We're going to get to the part about the kids being bad, right? He said, the perfect daughter I always wanted. We're also wondering what Brian Jr. thinks about his father. Also naming the son he shares with Leilani Brian. That's too many Brians. You know, you're Brian Jr. That's like special. Like, you know, like you don't feel too much special. You just feel like, yeah, my father's. And then your father says you're disowned. And then suddenly, there's a new baby called Brian? What do you mean, right? What happened between Brian McKnight and his biological children? That's a good question, right? What happened? In August 2019, again, shout out to Distractify.com. That's where I'm reading it from. In August 2019, McKnight posted a video addressing the accusation that he had abandoned his biological children. That was in August. I remember seeing that. Anyone who knows me, and I quote, anyone who knows me know that for the last 30 years I've been there for children every step of the way until recently, said the singer. And let's be clear, my two sons are 30 and 27. They're grown people. That was 2019. So they must be what now? 2019, what are we in? 2023? 4 years later. So they're about 34 and 31 now. These are grown human beings. Let's not get that twisted, right? So if these kids are bad, they're not kids. These are just grown people, okay? I just would, as a father, I would be a little bit more quiet. That's all. If it's really that bad, because, you know, family feuds happen. We talked about that the other day. Every family has their own dysfunction, and we don't really have to address that in public. Even if I have a person I'm in a relationship with trying to address things in public, I will hope to God that I have enough wisdom, right? Because, you know, emotions is nobody's mate, right? I will hope to God I have enough wisdom to have some patience and address it inside, right? It's like, I mean, within the family, right? Privately, right? Because what good does it do for me to create more damages? You know, two wrongs don't make it right. Anyway, he goes, let's be clear. These guys are 30 and 27. McKnight added that he never missed a child support payment. Child support it's not really for the kids like that. Okay, it's for them, but not really. Child support cannot replace being a father. Just so we all know. Okay. As I've never missed a child support, has never intentionally hurt them. Okay. At least he acknowledged that it's possible I've hurt them, but not intentionally. And has always been there when they needed him. At this point, McKnight dips into a classic parental complaint, which is that he spoiled them. What he said is that he spoiled them. That's right, McKnight simply gave them too much. McKnight admitted to cutting off Brian Jr., he cut him off, and Nico at the ages of 25 and 22. That is a long time ago. That's almost 10 years ago now. Is it making sense? Is it making sense? Small? It's making sense little by little, right? He cut them off It's going on almost 10 years ago now. Okay? You're right. You are so right, Jolason. He's being petty. He's being petty. He's being a petty hoe. I'm trying to understand but the mother in me is triggered. I'm gonna play the mother has something to say. I'm gonna play it for you in a second. If he was truly involved in their lives, maybe one of them would be bad, but not all of them. Yeah, he mentioned child support. That's what it sounds like to me. Just money. He was involved by way of his money. And he said he spoiled them. So maybe he went away a lot. He was always on the road. When he came back, he gave them everything they needed. Listen, if you have to blame anyone, you have to blame yourself for that as a parent. Right? Remember we had that conversation about Maurice and his son, Monster? Same issue. Anything that's readily available will be taken for granted. You will destroy your own kids if you move mad. You have to operate on a reward system basis. Consequences and rewards. Right? And you have to establish the rule, have the conversation in a fun way, add some fun to it. Don't be all strict and stringent. Right? Make it fun too, right? So that it becomes a part of who they are. Start before 7. If you're starting at 14, it's probably too late. You're going to need to use other type of measures. Okay? Yeah, I hate to say it, but it's not uncommon for men to get new families and act like the previous family never existed. Yes, that's common, but to come on social media and be doing all kind of booty clapping for the new family is just extra weird for me. I'm not used to seeing that too many times, you know? Yeah. Child support does not take the room of his presence. Yes, Latu, yes. And people get tired and want to live their life. I get that, but these comments he's making are so unnecessary and proper. Exactly. See, I feel the same way. If some grown kid at the age of 30 is coming at me mad or they trying to destroy my name, I might just ignore. But when I say ignore, all the way, right? Like my doors are open, but I will not be saying anything stupid like somebody's son or children or my perfect children. To what's the point of saying that? Like, why being so extra petty, right? Well, because you're petty. It's crazy. Let me continue He claimed that after they left his home, okay, so he cut them off at 25 and 22, respectively. He claimed that after they left his home, McKnight paid for an apartment for 2 years with the caveat that they had to get a job, which never happened. Right? Claimed it never happened. There's a video here. Let me see what this video says. Okay. There's a video. I'm just giving you the backstory. There's another video I'll play for you too. But let's play this video. Let me share this and play this.
Hey guys, it's Brian McKnight here. I've been traveling about 17 hours to Guam. I have a concert tonight.
This was 2019.
Plane to some of the most heinous craziness I've ever seen in my life, that my oldest son Brian would post that I'm abandoning my children, and the reason why, I suppose.
So at least he said my oldest son, right? That gave me goosebumps when I heard that. When he said that, like I wish they can do something to just my worst nightmare is for me to have an estranged relationship with my son. I just can't imagine it. It's just weird to me, man. You know, I would probably do everything in my power, man. You know, but when people are stuck on right and wrong, there's nowhere else to go. He's wrong. He's wrong too. Well, you're wrong then. Like, forget it then, right? When they can't think past that.
Because I have a new family, and I guess this stems from a post that I made the other day about my son Jack, who I'm very proud of. Which isn't. Oh
yeah, so he made a post back then about his stepson. Right.
And haven't been proud of my other children, but I was proud of this one for the things that he did that day. We'll get back to that in a second. Anyone who knows me knows over the last 20 years, 30 years now as a matter of fact, that I've been there for my children every step of the way. Until recently, and let's be clear, my two sons are 30 and 27. Not 12, not 13, but 30.
Yeah, but Brian, there's something that happened when they were 12 and 14 that's showing up right now. Something going on that happened with the way they were raised. Right? So saying they're not 12 and 14 and they're 30, you can say that to just say, hey, get some context that they're adults, right? But they're still your children. They're always your children, my dude. Jesus Christ.
And 27. Now my daughter's about to turn 18. That's another story I'll get to in a second. I've never missed a day of child support. I've never done anything adverse to my children whatsoever. I've always been there. I've always been there with advice, whether they took it or not. I've always been the sounding board, and I've always been the one that tried to help them achieve whatever dreams they were wanting to reach out for. I guess one of my only faults is that I gave my children everything that I didn't have in the hopes that they would appreciate it, because I know how much I would have appreciated.
That came up again. He gave them everything that he didn't have with the hope. Why are we hoping, man? If you are having kids, learn how parenting works within the context of the society you live in. Okay? They are human beings. They care about something. They would work extra hard to get it. Okay? And work hard could be house chores, could be making sure they're on their best behavior, right? But to just overwhelm them with everything, hoping that kid is so talented that something was right, but there were some things that were awfully wrong. And oftentimes, what another thing that people do in their relationships, including in parenting, is that they put too much extra focus on the stuff that's wrong, as opposed to putting extra focus on the things that are right, and use that to motivate and mitigate the wrong stuff, right? This is oftentimes an issue of gratitude, right? What did he say? He said, I give them stuff hoping that this is cap at best. It's cap, okay? You gave them what you gave them because that's what you thought you should give them. Well, you were also their father.
When I was their age, I would tell you as parents out there, entitling your children is probably one of the worst things you can do, and I know I am guilty of that. For whatever reasons, I'm guilty of that. Tough love is a tough thing as a parent to try to institute to your children because you want to help them as much as you can, and I did as much as I possibly could. When I stopped doing that for them, BJ was 25 and Nico was 22. And it wasn't like I completely cut them off at that point. That happened much later. But I've been there. When I put them out of my house, I gave them an apartment for 2 years. And I said, guys, this is it. This is the time to grow up. I'm giving you 2 years. I'm going to pay for everything for 2 years, but you're going to have to work or do something because at the end of those 2 years, that's going to be it. It's time to be men here, guys. It's time to grow up. At the end of those 2 years, they hadn't done any of it. It was just right around the time that Leilani and I had gotten together. Leilani was working at Children's Hospital. And let's be clear, Leilani has been one of the only people who's been an advocate to keeping us together, to keeping us having a relationship because she wants to have the nuclear family as much as I did.
Okay.
And they have spit in her face at every turn. She got them jobs at the hospital, $18 an hour with benefits and with the option of the hospital actually paying for them to go back to school. They said, and I quote, that they knew they didn't want to stop smoking and they would have to pass a drug test. And the day I had the doctors looking into it, Nico's on there, taking a big puff, which is fine. If you want to smoke, that's fine. I'm not saying that that's bad. If that's your choice, that's your choice. But what I'm telling you is that we have been advocates for them every step of the way. Now let's go to...
Is it a crime to say smoking is bad for you? Is that offensive? Because smoking is bad. It is bad. It's called bad. Just like smoking a can of soda is bad for you. It's bad. It's called bad. What is wrong with that? So maybe he's right after the fact that Maybe he exploit them. Why are you smoking? You need to get a job, right? I'll help you. Well, if you do this, here's another additional bonus I'll do. Well, you can't figure it out, you can't figure it out. But my doors are open when you're ready. But to cut them off? What do you mean by cutting them off? What does that even mean? Well, if it means they can't live in your home at the age of 27, I can understand that. But I'm guessing that an average person would not want to live with their parents at 27, 25. But I think the key thing is remember that the prodigal son, right? The key thing is to leave the doors open. And one of the ways you leave the doors open is to not be condescending on the internet with your stepchildren, right? Why are you saying those kind of things? Why are you saying the perfect daughter on the internet? Like, what? Why? You're 50, 60 years old, man. It's weird.
The part where we have been estranged. Again, we talk about abandonment. I'm not abandoning them. We are estranged.
You're estranged because the doors are not open. They don't feel safe to come back. That's a big deal. I'm not blaming you. I'm telling you what it is. Right? I'm telling you what it is. Those kids are bad. There's no question about it. They are bad and talented, by the way. But bad. They were bad kids, but they were the bad kids you created. That is not a crime. It's a mistake. The way I raised them, I wish I knew better. But you gotta leave the doors open for your kids to be able to come back when they're ready. Right? You can get angry with them. That doesn't stop you from getting angry with them. As in like upset. As in like, hey, don't do that. No, you gotta leave my house. You're welcome anytime. This is my standard. This is what I want you to do this. And then I got you. I'll help you as much as I can help you. You know? But to completely like estrange, even such languages is weird to me. You know?
It happens more often than not in this particular situation. BJ broke into our home a few months ago and he put X's on the eyes of our wedding photos. And then he put a photo of my first wedding.
Those kids are pretty angry. He broke into the house and put X's on the wedding photos. Those kids are pretty angry. It's obvious. Jesus Christ. There are some things I would have done different with my oldest. Since I didn't prepare him the best as I could, I refused to leave him hanging. That's my penance, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, to me, it's just about leaving the doors open, man. You know. Shout out to you, my brother Ekene. You're here today. Oh, shout out to you, my brother. Good to see you, man. Listen, hit me up on Instagram. Let's have a conversation. I would like to have some sort of debate with you or something like that. I'm sure we'll agree a lot, but I'm sure we'll also have some disagreement. I would like to have a conversation with you, but thanks for being here. They're breaking in. Yeah, they're bad. Those kids are bad. There's no question about that. Remember, we haven't said they're not bad, right? But to continue to instigate on the internet as a father, it just doesn't look good.
On Leilani's vanity. It was at that moment, and after I heard him say, and was pointed to from other friends of mine that saw his posts on social media, that he basically said that I was better off dead to him than alive. I was more valuable to him dead than alive. And that was the end of me dealing with him. If you look at my Instagram, you'll see that not my last video, but the video before that, 42, the song was written by Brian and I, and it was...
Wait, go back.
Me dealing with him. If you look at my Instagram, you'll see that not my last video, but the video before that, 42, the song was written by Brian and I, and it was directed, the video, by Nico. And I went on and I said how proud I was of Nico at the time, and I really, really was. He did an awesome job in that video.
This is sad.
Even before that, less than 2 years ago, these are the two gentlemen.
Listen, I'm gonna stop this. I wanna go back and play that. Let's play that boy again. I wanna play this again.
Sitting with my mother, 10% be reminiscing about the day that she met my father, and how we used to be so decent back when I was made half from a preacher and half from a pimp. That's why I'm a teacher and walk with a limp. If you don't get the picture, I'll give you a glimpse. God damn it, with the vision, I see it as a gift. Cause I know my story won't be defeat. No, no, no. And as I grow, my glory is all on me. And that's for sure, for sure, for sure. Oh yeah. Looking at my little ones, I can hardly believe this. Wishing I was good as my brother, and he didn't have to see this. But through mistakes I've made, he'll be a leader. I hold no regrets. I'm a stone cold believer. I say it with my chest. I know what I'm here.
This
to
is the
be
bugler.
best. God
Yes.
damn me with the fire
This
to
is
fuel
him.
my quest, so I know that my story.
Hey, T, have fun now.
No, 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 cause as I grow, I know my glory is all on me. And that's for sure, for sure, for sure. Look, this is my fight song. I've been at it since mama was hurting to keep the lights on. If I pulled back the curtains and really showed you my life, would you just judge a nigga for how I dope with the strife? I've been afflicted, addicted to every vice. Almost convicted, been evicted twice. That's right, sacrifice has been my best friend. So my advice, stay true to the end.
Wow. He said being evicted twice. Well, the father evicted him too, and his brother. But yeah, it's crazy. I can't imagine, man. You know, just like his father. But let me finish this.
In my way, an awesome job in that video. Even before that, less than 2 years ago, these are the two gentlemen who stood up for me as my best man.
Just 2 years ago, they were his best man. Okay, how bad could it have been, right? He said just 2 years ago, 2017. So this video is from 2019 or so.
My wedding. So abandonment, deadbeat dad. I'll reiterate, I've never missed a day of child support. I've been there every step of the way. BJ, he talked about Jack's new car. Jack.
I think, let's be fair to Brian McKnight. I think he's frustrated. It's the part where he's saying things like perfect daughter to the stepdaughter and just being extra, and then calling his new son Brian suddenly. It's those things that he's doing on social media that's a little weird now. But I think he really got frustrated with trying to parent 25, 30-year-old children. Maybe he shouldn't be parenting anymore. Maybe he should be learning how to build relationship with his grown children. You know, I think parenting is a form of relationship, but I think there's some distinct differences that you have to pay attention to when you're dealing with young adults, starting from as even young as 12. You gotta have conversations with them like you're speaking with people that matter, right? And allow them to also do the same thing with you, because yeah, you might be 25, 30, 43, and you have a 12-year-old. It feels good to have children that can also check on you. Hey, are you okay? Let me help you with that. You know, invite them to have conversations with you about some projects you're up to and get their opinion on it. Show them that they matter, right? Things like that goes a long way.
BJ had 3 brand new cars before he was 22. But I'm not talking about material things, because none of this has anything to do with money. It's about respect. Respect goes both ways. And even in family, there's a line that shouldn't and should not ever be crossed.
No, respect don't go both ways. These are the issues, okay? It eventually goes both ways. But sometimes you will be required, okay? You might be required to lift somebody else up when they're weak, when they are moving mad. They can't respect in that moment. Sometimes all it takes is for you to lead first, and then they will get into the dance. Right? If you don't have that kind of patience, you might end up in these streets talking about respect goes both ways, but yet there's no respect. Your relationships are estranged, right? These are some of the talking points that's creating troubles. But I'm not bringing it down. I don't want to oversimplify it. I think it was a frustrated father and I think he gave up. And he's doing it at the point where he needs to get petty right now.
It's crazy to me that people will just believe anything, and I thought it was important to set the record straight and let you guys know that abandonment has nothing to do with any of this. Deadbeat dad, I've been there every step of the way. And let's also remember that these kids are 30 and 27, not 12. It's time for grown men to be grown men. And I'm sorry that tough love happens to be this way.
This is not tough love, bro.
I do wish them the best. I want
You
them
want to scratch his face?
Their full potential, but like any other man in the world, you got to go out there and you got to take it. As far as my daughter is concerned, you know, her mother, if you look back at my Instagram, she was a part of this family too, with Jack and Julie and Leilani and myself. And unfortunately, along the way, a couple of years ago, I got wind that there was an older cousin who was above 18 who was quite possibly having sex with her. So I called, as a father should, to the state office for children's affairs there.
Wait.
As far as my daughter is concerned,
that's Brianna.
You know, her mother, if you look back at my Instagram, she was a part of this family too, with Jack and Julie and Leilani and myself. And unfortunately, along the way, a couple of years ago, I got wind that there was an older cousin who was above 18 who was quite possibly having sex with her. So I
quite possibly, or
should, to the state office for children's affairs there in Arizona, and I never heard anything back. But the next thing that her mother did was to block all of us from her social media, from her phone, and completely estranged her from us. So what that told me was they didn't want me to be involved in her life that way. So to see the post that she said, considering that her mother only had a child with me for money in the first place, and I'll reiterate this, I have not missed a child support payment. She goes to one of the most incredible private schools in Arizona. So I don't know where this is all coming from, but I thought that I needed to let everybody know that there's another side to this story. You can choose to believe what you want. I thought that I would lay it out there for you. Anything that I say is actual and factual. All you have to do is Google Brian McKnight and Sons, and you'll see us singing all over YouTube. Go back and look at my Instagram. Go back.
I remember that. I think those children traumatized Brian. Let's be honest. I think so. Damn. It's just sad to watch, you know. It's just sad to watch. Why on earth did he give his new son name as Brian? His oldest son, as if it's a replacement. That's the part that's tripping people off right now. Yeah, even hot as Kenneth says, we can make that happen. Yes, just be a man of prestige on Instagram. If you follow me, I'll follow you right back. We'll make it happen. I want to pick up your session. The first time I met you, I think first time was 2 weeks ago. Not met you, but I saw you on SB's Securities Boss platform. You were on the panel. I would like to pick up some of your talking points from there with the talking points from Auntie B's show, Obodo Yibo, and then we can talk about it. We can have a solid conversation. I'd like to make that happen. It'd be lovely. Yeah. Shout out to you, Kenny. Yes, crazy. Why 3 cars? Just like people talked trash about Kendrick Lamar when he bought his sister a Toyota. Yeah, they don't. If they don't work for it, they don't need more than a Toyota. You gotta pay attention. People can, when anything is readily available, people will take it for granted. Yeah, like I understand you want them to kind of have feel a little bit of the lifestyle that comes with you being a superstar, but we just gotta be careful with that. Gotta be careful. You know, I can't tell you what to buy your kids, but you can't buy a Mercedes for a high school kid to drive to a public school. It doesn't make any sense. Those children were really spoiled and were entitled when he was wanting them to grow up. However, he's going about it the wrong way. He was traveling a lot. He came back, spoiled them with everything. He was probably on the road a lot. And then he spoiled them with everything. And then he tried to pull off, let me raise this 25-year-old kid like it's 9 years old. And that won't work. That won't work. You know, but you know, we're at 12 midnight. I thought we'll be done by now, but clearly we're not. Right? Let me show you some more recent videos. right? And of the mother, well, first of all, Brian McKnight said something. Okay, I would like to play that for you first. This video was released 3 days ago. All right.
My family is being harassed online.
All right, let's go back.
Brian,
so this is fresh. This is not the same video I just played for you. This is fresh. This was 3 days ago. Again, asserting no abandonment, no made-up stories, no false statements, no defamations. Now he's addressing the son. The daughter sued. This daughter sued him. Okay. Before I actually play this video, let me read something to you, right? McKnight revealed that after he met his now wife, she tried to get jobs for his sons at the hospital where she is a doctor. Per McKnight, neither of them wanted to work there because of drug testing. McKnight maintains that he and his children are estranged and that they were not abandoned by him. Then a wild story comes down the pipeline. Brian Jr. broke into our home a few months ago and he put X's on the eyes of our wedding photos. McKnight revealed he then placed a picture from McKnight's first wedding on Lelanie's vanity. He brought a picture of wedding with his mother. Right? At this point, McKnight alleges he was made aware of social media posts by his son where he states McKnight was better off deleted to him. Things definitely take a turn when McKnight brings up his biological daughter and an alleged physical relationship she was having with a much older cousin. When McKnight spoke with Child Protective Services in Arizona where he lived with her mother, McKnight never heard back from them but was blocked on all social media by his daughter's mother. I'm going to play a video from her for you in a second too. He also claims she only wanted to have a child with him for money. He urges people to check his Instagram for receipts regarding his relationship with his biological children. All right, so that was that. Now let me play this more recent video for you. Recently, the daughter sued him, and he's going to speak to that in a second. I'm just going to play the video, and then we'll play another video from the ex-wife, the mother of those kids. We'll take it from there. Let's go.
Brian McKnight here. There's been a lot of discussion online lately about how I talk about my family on social media. Typically, I prefer not to give attention to the internet trolls, but now my family is being harassed online and accosted in public, apparently because some people can't handle seeing my happily ever after. Coming after me
happily ever after.
But the moment you come after my wife and our children, it's another story. Because even more important to me than defending my name is defending and protecting them. I want to address some of these recent discussions. There is a very simple reason why I post about some of my children on social media and not others. The children that I do not currently have relationships with, I don't post about them. Instead, I post about the children with whom I do have relationships, with whom I am proud of, and about whom I want to share my pride in their accomplishments. I don't live in the past. I live in the present and the future. I am so proud of the man I am today.
That is so dumb to say. That's such a dumb thing to say.
To our children. I'm so proud of our love.
Was he trying to sound smart by saying, I don't live in the past, I live in the present? We're talking about your children. They're still your present, my dude. Brotherly. Right? What am I missing here, right?
Our family, our life. So I will, without apology, continue to shout about it as loud as I can.
He has coconut head. This is why he's struggling. He thinks everything, he thinks he can just, and he has the money. I see manipulation here. Okay? And that's what I'm seeing here. He created his results and he's trying to run away from his own shadow right now. And there's a big old light shining, beaming on him right now. And he will not be able to run it from his shadow. These kids will haunt him. Oh, don't. These kids have children now. He's a grandfather. Remember, they're in their 30s now.
If you can't help or handle seeing happiness and love, then I respectfully ask you, why are you even on my page?
Well, we're here because we're learning lessons from this, and we're doing work with Shebilomo. You're a clown for this behavior, and you know clowns are to be they're entertaining. What do you want us to say? But we can also get some lessons from this. We know what not to do. The first thing not to do is don't spoil your children. If you do end up spoiling your children, and it's happened, it is what it is. They're now adults. They're still human beings who care about something. You still need to find out what they care about and use that as a point of leverage to serve. If you serve, they will respond, especially if you have a certain level of patience, okay? Especially if you're just at least humble yourself. This coconut head thing right now, you think is new? You think it's just new, like he's doing it for the first time because he's frustrated? No, he's been doing this all along. It's the kind of guy that he would talk softly and quiet, extremely talented, charming. But he's going to get his way because he has all these other things he can use to get his way. But he would try to do it without serving the emotional needs of the people in his life, right?
Maybe you should ask yourself that too. Another thing a lot of people have been talking about is the lawsuit my adult daughter Brianna brought against me a few years ago. There's been a lot of misinformation about the case and a lot of people who don't know what happened acting like they
Tell us what happened, bro.
I think it is important to clear up some of that misinformation. In 2020, my biological daughter Brianna sued me for defamation.
You notice the same biological daughter. He's saying that so you're clear. That's not my daughter necessarily. My biological daughter, right? He's making a point. He's being condescending, okay? That's what he's doing, right? He's making a point without making it exact. He's trying to be clear about something.
And breach of contract. I posted a page from the lawsuit sued me for defamation.
Defamation.
And breach of contract. I posted a page from the lawsuit here and the file number down
The daughter sued him for defamation and breach of contract.
below, so you can look this up for yourself. And you will see that she did not ask for an apology or even ask that I remove the alleged false statement from the internet. All she asked for and all she wanted was money. The case was dismissed before there was any decision whether my statement about her was defamatory. We settled the case earlier this year, and I agreed to pay Brianna some money.
Well, is it called, if you settled, is that called dismissed? You settled, right? Okay, you settled. Okay, dismiss whatever. But you settled why?
We settled the case earlier this year, and I agreed to pay Brianna some money.
How much?
Here's the interesting part. She sued me for defamation and breach of $1 million life insurance policy, and I agreed to pay her $318,000 with no admission of any wrongdoing whatsoever.
Well, it doesn't matter. That's paperwork. You paid your daughter how much?
$318,000 with no
$318,000
whatsoever. You heard that right. She dismissed $1 million case in exchange for payment of $318,000.
Well, yeah, you cut them off. You're the one with the money, remember? That thing you were using to manipulate them all along? And now there's these bad kids that are carrying your name around. They're the only one carrying your name around too. Brian McKnight Jr. Like, you can't escape this.
With no admission that I did anything wrong and no requirement.
Even ordinary be quiet, you don't have to respond on the internet. You don't know how to do. How are you going to escape this, Mr. Brian McKnight? It's not going to happen. I'm not talking Brian McKnight, by the way. I'm talking about all the Brian McKnights out there. I'm talking to you, right? Your shadow will always follow you everywhere you go. You're going to have to deal with this. You're going to have to learn how to deal with this. the right way. And you can start at any time. If you missed your childhood, well, it just means you're dealing with adults and they are a blessing still, but you're gonna have to learn how to move less like a controlling father. You're gonna have to move like just two people in two relationships. You can have that mutual respect, but it has to start with you. You can start by having self-respect for yourself. Like, never ever mind respect for them. Respect yourself. Why are you on the internet talking about perfect daughter you've never had?
That I retract my statement or remove it from the internet. If someone said that I did something I didn't do and I want a case proving that I didn't, I demand a public apology. I demand an acknowledgement of wrongdoing. And I demand a retraction.
She got $318,000. What are you talking about?
The
Cash.
value of that life insurance policy was $300,000 with $18,000 worth of interest. I did not defame her. I made no false.
Who cares if you defame your daughter or not? Who cares? Who cares if you defame your daughter or not? Nobody cares. All of this is weird, including this video. It's just weird.
Statements. I made up no stories. You can do what you will with that information.
He's claiming that he's doing this video because his family, his present family, is in harm's way. No. Okay, I guess yes, but nah, it's just you wanting to be right all over again. We don't care if you are right or not. Okay? You are probably right, but you're weird.
You're right.
You're weird. This is weird behavior. You're almost 60. How old is Brian McKnight? Let me check. It's crazy, man.
In deciding who you think won the case. I know that some people on the internet would rather not know the truth about what happened.
You just told us the truth. We believe you, dummy.
Mind, who are more interested in facts than rumors.
He's 53.
Explain what really happened in that case. Finally,
people don't care about the facts. They just find it weird that you're on the internet being petty to your own biological children. That's weird.
I want to address the abandonment issue for the last time. Those kids and I have had a long history of conflicts, mutual estrangements, and resolutions. But there was a time when we were truly a successfully blended family. Julia, Jack, BJ, Nico, and Brianna. Our home was filled with love and acceptance, so much so that the kids were all calling each other siblings, contrary to the picture that's been painted online. Christmases, birthdays, Thanksgivings, Friendsgivings, all spent together, even standing up for me as my best man in our wedding, along with their brother Jack, which I posted a pic of here. Shortly thereafter, the same conflict over money arose again. We parted ways, and the next thing I knew, there were two posts from Brian and Brianna in 2019 telling the world a completely different narrative for the reason why. I never abandoned anyone. Our estrangement was mutual, but those posts made any roads towards reconciliation.
Estrangement was mutual. When they told you, yes, everybody go their separate way, you really believe them, right? And you're like, yes, I'm just going to be petty too. We're separated. We don't, like, this is some kind of divorce or something, right? This is not, you can't divorce your own kids. You can't even divorce the mother of your kids. You can try on paper. That's about all you can do. Paper. In real life, they will continue to be a part of your life. Yes, even when you're estranged, because now you're having to do shalaye on the internet to strangers. You can't escape this. Right? I'm not exonerating the kids from their bad behavior, but this response is not good.
And acknowledging them a dead issue. And I changed my will the next day. I've spent the last 30 plus years building a recognized, respectable name.
This guy's one of my favorite artists, I swear.
There are still people out there who are trying to smear my name while still carrying it.
This is why I play their video and respond to the video. They're always somebody's trying to smear it. You use your own mouth to talk yourself into a hole right now. So You're the same guy who is posting stuff on your Instagram page, yet they're trying to smear your name. What are you talking about?
To use it for their own benefit. I make absolutely no apologies for naming my infant son Brian. I want him and the world to know that he is the one who is my true legacy. So I'll be over here.
Did you see that evil laugh? Did you see that evil laugh?
Apologies for naming my infant son Brian. I want him and the world to know that he is the one who is my true legacy. So I'll be over here, continuing to love and protect my wife and our children as we continue to love our life.
This is wild. This is crazy. Can't make this up. Can't make it up, right? They're smearing his name. His user's mouth just recorded a 5-minute video re-emphasizing what they're saying about him, and he's talking about they're smearing his name. Whatever, man. But anyway, this is what the ex-wife had to say. Let me play the ex-wife for you.
Hi, family. Just here to say thank you. We appreciate you. We see you. We hear you. We feel it. We thank you. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you for your strength. Thank you for your stories that let us know that you understand and that everything is experienced to help others. You find your tribe. You get stronger. It's life. And I've learned that the best way to go through it, the best way to endure it, the best way to learn from it, the best way to prosper in it is to elevate. Stay positive. Doesn't mean you don't get upset. It doesn't mean that you don't want to, you know what I mean? But don't lower your vibration. Raise it. It's almost the weekend, y'all. Come on. We love you and we appreciate you. And we're all right.
Yeah. I just thought I'd show that's all she had to say. Right? That's all she had to say. This was them. That was them back when they were together in the 90s, right? She is pretty. I'll say this. Brian McKnight is a legend. All these people are just they're so extremely talented, but they have a lot of issues going on. I want to play the song one more time. It's just, that one got me. I really loved.
Sitting with my mother, 10% beer reminiscing.
What's up, Mo Fresh? Good to see you, man.
That she met my father, and how we used to be so decent. Back when I was made half from a preacher and half from a pimp. That's why I'm a teacher and walk with a limp. If you don't get the picture, I'll give you a glimpse. God damn it, with the vision, I see it as a gift. Cause I know my story won't be defeat. No, no, and as I grow, my glory is all on me. And that's for sure, for sure, for sure. Oh yeah.
It's lights, right?
Looking And he didn't have to see this, but through mistakes I've made, he'll be a leader, holding no regrets. I'm a stone cold believer, I say it with my chest. I know what I'm here to be is the best. God damn me with the fire that fuels
I do this allow now. How you did? You're right. He put them in harm's way, right? He did it all to himself. He can't come and be a victim.
Look, this is my fight song. I've been mad as his mama was hurting to keep the lights on. If I put back the curtains and really showed you my life, would you just judge a nigga for how I dope with the strife? I've been afflicted, addicted to every vice. Almost convicted, been evicted twice. That's right.
Shalaye is a bastard.
My best friend, so my advice: stay true to the end.
Often a sign that you're guilty. That Shalaye stuff is just you're giving yourself away so easily.
Sitting with my mother, 10% beer reminiscing about the day that she met my father and how we used to be so decent. Back when I was made half from a preacher and half from a pimp. That's why I'm a teacher and walk with a limp. If you don't get the picture, I'll give you a glimpse. God damn it, with the vision, I see it as a gift, cause I know.
Let me pause for a second. Have you guys noticed that he's actually telling the story of what did he say? This was 2 days ago. He's actually telling. I think I heard the story. He said, "I know my story. It won't be defeat. Happy Sabbath, family. Sorry for walking off so aggressive at the end. The bar's been having me hype. Grandma Elaine always told me, put it in the song, and everything will be okay. I wish I could tell her how right she was." Wow.
Story.
So I have a terrible habit. I don't listen to lyrics. I just enjoy the music. So I'm just starting to pay attention to the lyrics a little bit here. I'm going to play it from the beginning again.
Sitting with my mother, 10% beer reminiscing.
Jealous, you're making me laugh.
That she met my father and how
lost his mind completely. Jesus Christ.
Back when I was made half from a preacher and half from a pimp. That's why I'm a teacher and walk with a limp. If you don't get the picture, I'll give you a glimpse. God damn it.
Like once we're done with this live, I'm probably gonna go listen to Abraham McKnight's hit list. That's how much I love his music. Like he was my first his albums were my first R&B, like getting into R&B heavy in the late 90s.
Looking at my little ones, I can hardly believe it.
He went cray for real.
Wishing I was good as my brother, and he didn't have to see this.
He didn't have to see this.
Mistakes I've made, he'll be a leader, holding no regrets. I'm a stone cold believer, I say it with my chest. I know what I'm here to be is the best. God damn me with the fire that fuels my quest. So I know that my story won't be defeat. No, cause as I grow, I know my glory is all I'll be. And that's for sure, for sure, for sure. Look, this is my fight song. I'm mad as mom was hurting to keep the lights on. If I put back the curtains and really showed you my life, would you just judge a nigga for how I dope with the strife? I've been afflicted, addicted to every vice. Almost convicted, been evicted twice. That's right. Sacrifice has been my best friend. So my advice: stay true to the end.
Yeah, boy. What a live stream, man. What a live stream. This is probably one of the best live streams just because of this music element in it that I've done in a while. I know we're only shout out to all 14 of you watching me, all 13 watching me. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Ode Pro Max. There was a lot. He has forgotten that he passed away today. There will be a lifelong legal battle with them challenging his will. Everything. Everything about it. This is insane. So your legacy will be chaotic, literally, if he doesn't fix it while he's still here. You know, it's just bad. That's a word, Busola. Allah, he was talking about his vices and all. I'm just saying, if it was all good, why would his son be self-medicating? Yeah. I was just enjoying the chords and the music. I'm like, I was lost in that already. Then I caught the when you met my mother, something like that. I was like, oh, he's talking about the story. Wow. Yeah. I can't listen to Brian right now. I'm about ready to run down on him on IG. No, the music is the music. It's like do you think I still listen to R. Kelly or not? I won't tell you the answer. I'll leave it alone, okay? Brian is so damn petty. He named this baby Brian to really hurt his oldest. That's what he was trying to do. Yeah. Using his own hands to create wahalas for his legacy. Talking about facts. Who cares about I don't care about the facts. Dumb. You know. Shout out to your Queen City royalty. Lifetime trauma and counseling for these kids. They're going to need it. They're going to need it. Absolutely. They're going to need that. Yes, so legacy in the butter. Yeah, it's legacy in the potter. Absolutely. Doesn't matter if he's a grown man, he doesn't think that would hurt him. Yeah. There's some R. Kelly song I refuse to listen to. Too creepy in hindsight. Oh, so you still listen. I didn't even say I listen. So you still listen to some, right? All right. Thanks for admitting that, Jolason. All right. Anyway, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Shout out to everyone for being here to rock with me tonight. I had fun doing this session, you know. I will be back tomorrow. We got some stuff to cover tomorrow. And by the way, I will be hanging out with Auntie B on Thursday, 2 p.m. So look out for that. We're going to be hanging out, talking about jackpot marriages that are falling apart everywhere. So make sure you show up for that. Come show some love. The Prestige family. It's always fun to see the Prestige family infiltrating the Obodo fam and like making them look, yeah, and you beat about. I beg, you know. But yeah, we're all family, you know. So Love Letter is actually your favorite album. This is why I love you, Jolasun. This is why. It's just too many things in common. That album right there, I'm not saying I still listen to it. I won't tell you that part. But yes. That album right there, yeah. Chinye, what are you talking about? There's word on the street that May and you are not those ones. I don't know. They have to come up with something better than trolling. I'll see. I'll take a look. Post it in the group. Let me see what they're talking about. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. And I'm going to go listen to some Brian McKnight, the older one. Oh, now divorced. Yeah. I saw that. They're now divorced. Yeah. All right, cool. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. I'll see you on the next one. And peace.
It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.